What's up, guys? The Snowman here, back with part 3 of a 3-part tennis rankings video today. It's my top 10 men's grass court players of all time. I've already ranked the best clay and hard court players, so please check those out if you want, but all about the grass today. Unfortunately, with grass, there is less of a sample size. We've got Wimbledon and a handful of other events each year, but really the grass court season only about a month long each year. Nonetheless, this is the list that I've compiled for the top 10 greatest men's grass court players ever. Starting off with the German Boris Becker at number 10, I have him slightly ahead of guys like Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray on grass. Becker, the youngest men's Wimbledon singles champion of all time, breaking through in 1985 at the ripe young age of 17. 3 Wimbledon titles in all during the 1980s, 4 other finals appearances. Becker's play style was tailor-made for the grass. 6'3" with a thumping serve and superb volleying, 71 match wins at Wimbledon. That's good for the 4th most all time. Next is the man who played against Becker in 3 consecutive Wimbledon finals, Stefan Edberg. Edberg with a 2-1 head-to-head advantage there to give him a pair of Wimbledon titles, but the Swede also has 2 other major titles on grass. Remember, the Australian Open was played on grass through 1987, same for the US Open up to the mid-70s, so we're talking about more than just Wimbledon when it comes to the grass majors. For my money, Edberg, the best serve and volley player in tennis history. At number 8, I have Jimmy Connors. Incredible sheer volume and counting stats when you talk about Connors' grass court career. 4 major titles and 5 other finals. Only Federer and Djokovic have been to more grass major finals. Not as proficient against the best players. In fact, he's the only man on my list to have a negative record versus top 10 players at grass majors. Fun fact about Jimmy, though, his best season in 1974 when he won 3 major titles, the Australian Open, Wimbledon, US Open, all 3 were on grass. John McEnroe, my 7th best grass court player ever. For Connors, I said it was all about volume. For McEnroe, it's all about peak. Not the most consistent career, but when he was at the top of his game, Johnny Mac annihilated people on grass. Crazy good volleying skills led to 3 Wimbledon titles, made 5 consecutive finals from 1980 through 84. McEnroe handed Borg his only Wimbledon final loss, and in 1984 he embarrassed his rival Connors in the final, losing just 4 games and committing a mere 4 unforced errors the entire match. Someone you might not be as familiar with at number 6, John Newcombe. His career spanned across the amateur era and the Open era from 1960 to 1978, 5 grass majors in the Open era with 2 other titles prior to that. Newcombe had a relentless attacking approach and a dominating serve and volley style, physically imposing, had all the tools on grass to be a champion. One of his finest wins was the 1975 Australian Open, saved match points in the semis, and then triumphed in a classic final over Jimmy Connors. Top 5 now, another star whose career predates the Open era, the great Rod Laver. 4 grass majors in the Open era. Of course, he won the calendar Grand Slam in 1969, 5 other majors on the surface. If you include the amateur era, Laver was so much better than his peers, 22-4 against fellow top 10 players on grass, including an incomparable 11-0 mark in majors. Rocket has 5 more grass major doubles titles as well, thanks to an outstanding all-court game spearheaded by his powerful lefty forehand and trademark soft-hand volleys. Top 4 here, and the Mount Rushmore of grass greatness, truly unassailable. Bjorn Borg. These next 4 guys are on a different level from everyone else. Borg won 5 consecutive Wimbledon trophies from 1976 to 1980. That includes a record 41 straight matches won. In fact, Borg has the highest winning percentage at the championships all time, almost 93%. Like Laver, an exceptional win ratio versus top 10 players on grass, and who's to know how much more grass court success Borg would have achieved had he not retired at age 25. It's super close between my number 2 and 3, but I have Novak Djokovic at the 3 spot. His 7 Wimbledon titles are tied for the 2nd most of all time, also the 2nd most finals with 10. So many clutch moments on grass for Novak. Of course, the 2019 Wimbledon final against Federer, saving match points. Djokovic 3-1 all-time against Fed at Wimbledon, positive record versus Nadal too. Djokovic's game not necessarily built for the grass, but he's just so suffocating once the point gets to a neutral position. One of the best movers on grass ever. For number 2, I just barely gave the nod to Pete Sampras. Honestly, the stats between he and Djokovic are dead even. If anything, maybe even favoring the Serbian, but Sampras' aura on grass nearly invincible. A perfect 7-0 in Wimbledon finals for Pistol Pete. That includes an insane 7 of 8 titles from 1993 to 2000, 90% win rate at Wimbledon, maybe the best second serve of all time, unreal power and placement. Sampras a savant up close at the net, just 2 losses in 42 matches on center court at Wimbledon, 1996 quarters versus Richard Krajicek and 0-1 against Federer. And speaking of the Swiss maestro, we have the one true grass GOAT and the owner of a record 8 Wimbledon titles, Roger Federer. Most Wimbledon titles, finals, semifinals, most Wimbledon match wins. The list goes on and on. Fed one of 2 men in the Open era alongside Bjorn Borg to win Wimbledon without dropping a single set when he did it in 2017. Phenomenal serving, a dazzling net game, and a killer slice gave him the perfect grass game. Fed truly glides on the surface. More than Wimbledon, though, he has 11 other titles on the surface for a total of 19, by far the most in the Open era. 10 titles in Halle. Federer was a wizard on all surfaces, but especially on grass. He sits high atop the throne as the greatest grass court tennis player to ever live. Thanks a lot for watching my top 10 greatest grass court players of all time. Please leave a comment. Let me know who you would include in this list, who you would take off of mine, and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more tennis content. Cheers!